I want to be a stand-up comic since I was really young, actually. I've been a big fan of yours forever.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
How long did you, what age did you start doing comedy?
When I was 14 years old, I started doing stand-up comedy. My parents enrolled me at a workshop, actually, it was held out of a lesbian bar, which it was weird. I didn't know that till I got there, and I thought it must be ladies' night. That's all I thought.
Every night is
every
ladies'
night's
night.
lady, and there must be a flannel sale nearby. That was my other thought. But it was a great experience. It actually led to my first real professional writing work.
So you went there and you kind of auditioned that night at the bar?
Well, yeah, how it worked is you'd write a joke, and if your joke was funny, then you got to kind of come back and do like 5 minutes or something like that. And yeah, my joke was funny. Apparently, I guess. I was 14. I was cute and not miserable looking back then. So that bought me a lot of mileage.
Do you remember the joke that you used that night?
It was about my grandparents being deaf, actually, I think. And it was so silly. It was about pass me a pillow. I'm an armadillo. It was it was real. See, that was but if you're 14 and adorable and don't look like a 25-year-old moron, it helps a lot.
I see.
It gives you
and you say from that you actually got a gig writing, right?
I did, actually. I was after a show one day. I was approached by a man in a dark suit, and he came up to me and he said, I want you to write jokes for my service. And I thought, what kind of, I said, what kind of service do you do? And he said, I'm a moil, who is, for you don't know, the guy who performs circumcisions to Jewish young men. And I thought, that's a weird thing to want jokes in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want raucous laughter when there's basically a surgical procedure going on. But I had no money and no real ambition, so I thought, yeah, that'd be a great thing. And some of the jokes were kind of funny, I guess. They were all haircut. They were like, so you want a little off the top, or a perm's extra. The cut's for free, though. It was pretty silly.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah.
And why was this guy in a lesbian bar? Did you ever find out about that?
I never see. You'd think if you're a moil, the last place you'd look for business is a lesbian bar, but. That's why he wasn't very good. That's why he needed jokes, I think. He wasn't getting a lot of
He's not very
business.
good, but he's hilarious.
He killed.
Now, Charles Barkley is here, and what a nice guy.
He was so nice, I just met him.
Yeah, and did you play sports at all when you were a kid?
No, not at all.
Really?
Believe it or not. I wasn't physically... me and my friends, we kind of made up our own means of competition, I guess you would say. We played this game, we invented ourselves actually, called Edward 40 Hands, wherein it's kind of based on Edward Scissorhands, but you would duct tape a 40-ounce bottle of beer to each of your hands, and you couldn't take them off until you were done both of them. And it was a strategy game more than anything, because you couldn't really...
Oh, my God.
And because you want them to be cold so they taste good, but if they're cold, they hurt your hands.
Yeah.
And... you want to drink them fast, but the faster you drink them, the more trips to the gentleman's room you might need to take,
set of problems.
which is hard to do with 40-ounce bottles of beer.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. It's very cerebral. It's actually more like chess.
It's
really.
a lot more like chess. 3 moves ahead.
That's right.
That's what they say.
That's
and
right.
Russians are great at it.
And also in this, you have a very romantic scene, a bedroom, a sex scene with your...
I do. The movie basically starts with me having sex with Katherine Heigl, which is where we lose a lot of people right there, because they don't buy it. They just don't buy that. They're much quicker to believe a man can shoot webs from his hands and climb buildings than believe that maybe I would sleep with Katherine Heigl.
What was it? But as a young actor in the early part of one's career, what is it like to actually have to do that in front of a crew and cameras? And...
It's terrifying, really.
I would think so.
It's humiliating in a lot of... I was just super nervous because, you're basically in bed pretending to have sex with someone. I kept thinking, if I was 18, this would literally be as far as I've ever been with a girl. And it's in front of all these people. So I got really nervous, and I kept thinking, what do I do? How will I behave? And I was watching TV one day, and inside the actor's studio was on, and Sean Connery was on. And he has a lot of sex scenes. He's a very attractive man, I find. I like older men, though, so that's just me. But so he was talking about sex scenes, and he said, you know, before every sex scene, I say to the woman, I say, I'm sorry if I get aroused, and I'm sorry if I don't. And I thought, that's good. I'll use that. So, you know, we're shooting the scene. We're kind of getting in position. You know, I'm really focusing on not sweating on her. That's my main goal, because I'm afraid a big is just going to land on her head. And then, you know, I say to her, I say, you know, Catherine, I'm sorry if I get aroused, and I'm sorry if I don't. And then she looks at me and said, why would you be sorry if you don't get aroused? I don't want you to get aroused. And I realized that's the difference between me and Sean Connery, is people kind of want him to get aroused a little. No one wants me anywhere near, so I should have just said, I'm sorry. That's it.
Well, it won't be your only time. Now, when you were a kid, adolescent, teenager years, that you had a lot of trouble.
I had a lot of trouble. With the law.
Actually, with the law.
Specifically, yes.
See, I wasn't even thinking that it was legal.
No, it was often with the law. And, you know, you learn things as a young... a very important lesson I learned was if you're at a party and you're underage and you're inebriated, do not hug a cop. Because to a cop coming at you, there's not much difference between a hug and an attack.
Yeah.
So I tried to hug a cop one time at a party just to let him know, like, we're all on the level, man.
Yeah,
like, and
just trying to get rid of a cold.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just trying to get rid of a cold. I'm 10 bourbons in, and when I had him, he threw me on the ground,
God.
and he said, "You do not hug cops."
Right.
And I thought, what a sad rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you're headed for the tank, is that correct?
I want to try to outjump those dogs.
All right. 23-6, 25-11. And now is the perfect time to try it because the tank is nice and full of urine.
Exactly, dog urine and hair, yeah. Dander. Swim around in dander.
Are you going to just go out and do it right now?
Let's just do it right now.
All right, Seth Rogen, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck. How did he do? Let's see. Oh, there's a towel. Nice job, Seth. Way to go, buddy. 17 feet. But by God, he gave it his all. What do you do when you're not making movies? Do you do stuff?
I don't. Well, what I realize is now that I'm in movies, I've been granted this magical power where I can like phone almost any celebrity in the world and ask them to have lunch with me, and they say yes, just by the nature of the fact that I'm in movies. So
really,
yeah, it's crazy. And so me and my writing partner Evan Golder, we're huge comic book fans. So we were like, let's call Stan Lee and see if he'll have lunch with us. He created the X-Men and Spider-Man, and we sat down. And he actually said he'd have lunch with us, and you know, it was very soon into the lunch I realized, like, oh, I'm kind of just having lunch with like a 90-year-old man right now. And it was at that point that, like, I was literally flooded with guilt because I felt like I was cheating on my grandfather. Like, I literally felt like I'm here eating lunch with an old man who's not my grandfather. Like, how would I explain this if he saw this happen? Like, oh, it was another old man. I haven't had lunch with my grandfather in 2 years. Oh. And then I was on Regis the other morning, and I had the exact same feeling all over again.
That's right. I understand that.
Let's see what we can do here.
store to get a banana. This is where you want to be, isn't it?
That was
Back to the
wonderful.
show. Thank you
was,
very much. Surprised you're not in a cab.
No, that was great.
Listen,
I was hoping you'd smash the big microphone as your big finale. That would have been amazing.
there you go. It's all yours.
Oh, I get
Now, here's a question I've been wanting to ask you. I remember 6 months ago, a year ago, you're busy writing up the Green Hornet.
Yes.
And you went on our friend Howard Stern's show.
Yes.
And you mentioned that often you would write under the influence of marijuana.
That is very correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, at the time, I said to myself, does the studio know what they're getting here? The writer of the script and the star of the movie are creating something while they're all baked.
Yes, very big. They do now.
Well, they must have known from Howard. But okay, now here's the question. And as you suggest, many of the characters you play in films is a guy who's often smoking marijuana.
Yes.
In your own life.
Yes.
What percentage of the day
Yeah.
are you loaded?
I wake up and go to the bathroom, so that takes 20 minutes. I don't know what percentage 20 minutes is, but subtract that from 100 and pretty much that amount of time.
Really?
No, of course, no,
of
not
course
at all.
Yeah.
No,
Now, what about your? So, what about your fiance? Does she share this interest?
not really. Probably a little more since she started dating me. I think I'm a bad influence. I either get you to start smoking weed or I make you stop smoking weed. I will do one of those two things to you.
Now, how old were you when you began?
I was around 13 years old, which is pretty young, but I'm fine, so I wouldn't worry about it.
That's good. And one more question, and we'll move on.
I don't know. You can talk about it all day.
From the time you were 13 to your most recent experience,
Yes.
have you noticed that the strength of the weed,
the weed, yeah.
has gotten stronger?
Exponentially stronger. To the point that it is a little startling at times what they can grow out of the ground these days. I mean, it's just really impressive. That comes from dirt and water? That's amazing. It could drive you insane. Yeah.
And do you like the stronger version of it?
It's gotten, I've hit my limit. I've realized I've had to downgrade from, I used to go and just give me the strongest you got, and now that's too strong, so I can't do that anymore.
So it's going well, and married life, what do you think?
It's good. She takes care of me, which is good, because I'm helpless in many ways, I've learned, and don't take good care of myself.
Tell us about that. How does that manifest itself? What don't you take care of that you ought to be taking care of?
I had never been to the dermatologist ever in my life, and apparently you're supposed to, especially when you're like me and have weird stuff growing all over your body. Like, I have something that looks like a croissant on my back. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. But so she made me go to the dermatologist for the first time ever, actually.
It is good advice because
It was.
I think the numbers on skin cancer and things you ought to be worried about are increasing.
They are. So they get there and they examine every inch of your body.
Right.
Literally every inch of your body. And my wife was there with me, which was surreal.
Now, what inch?
Yeah.
What inch are you talking about?
What inch? Yeah, there was 1 inch. Well, it's not funny you say, but there was. They found an anomaly on my groinal region, and
Check, please.
Yeah, exactly. And
We're going to have to be running off. We have a sitter at home. Could we get the?
Yeah, gotta get the check.
groinal's as bad as all go. But but what happens when they do that is they have to document it. They have to take a photo of it, and. So there's this like 50-year-old woman in the room and my wife, and they're like, we have to take a picture of your bare groinal region. And I'd never taken nude photos in my life, honestly.
Oh, come on.
I haven't.
Oh, come on.
And so I didn't know I wanted them to be good, you know?
Sure. That's right.
So I didn't know, it's like my instinct was to kind of like, you know, like I remember seeing Burt Reynolds on the cover of Playgirl once, and he was kind of like...
Yeah, I think that is the way to go.
They didn't want that, though.
They didn't want that.
It's more, she
Hard
just
to
was
believe.
kind of like, boop, that was it, yeah. It's like taking a picture of a hamburger or something. She just like...
Now, what did it turn out? I mean, I don't want to know much more.
I don't know.
Is it okay?
I have to get more pictures taken regularly, so...
Oh, they want to document it to make sure.
Yeah.
What did they say off the? Oh, we think this might be a. What did they say?
It's just a mole, I think.
Just
It's
a mole.
But I will have a calendar and 11 more visits, so
Yeah.
that's...
That's lovely. Before we show the clip, I want to know a little bit about weed.
Yes,
because
I'm your guy.
Yeah, they've legalized weed in Washington and also in Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was close to moving to Washington when I heard that. Yeah.
Now, if I were to smoke some of the weed now that you buy in Colorado,
Yeah.
say you and I go into a weed store, and we say, Seth and I would like a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would know.
Yeah, they would
Yeah.
know. But would it be so awful powerful? I'd take one hit and you'd have to call the EMT.
Probably. Yeah.
Now, is that what you're looking for?
That's what I want. I go, give me the best you got. I want to completely numb my brain.
Yeah.
No,
But how can you do anything when you're that far looped?
I don't know. It just kind of happens sometimes.
Now, are you weeded stoned now?
Not very. No. I'm never really at zero, I don't think, just because there's a cumulative effect that it just kind of,
Yeah.
it's probably in there somewhere, I
Right.
would imagine, yeah.
So you have no problem coming out here on a TV show after smoking the weed. Yeah, that's fine. Now, see, I would have to come out on a gurney. Because I can remember when I was years and years and years ago.
When's the
when I
last
lived
time you smoked
Oh,
weed?
God, it's been 30 years. When I was in California, and it was like somebody, Robin Williams said, it's like, oh, I'm hungry. And that was it.
It's not like that now.
It's not like that now. But what is it like?
I have to warn people. I'm used to it, but I've actually had to start warning people at parties. Like, it's really strong, because I've seen a lot of people go home early, and then I feel bad for them, honestly, because it's...
What happens to them when they don't know that it's going to be that strong?
I don't know. They kind of just stop talking, and I assume they are thrust in a deep mental conundrum, and some people just lock themselves in the bathroom. I don't know what they're doing in there, honestly.
But it can be frightening, because you feel like, oh no, I'm no longer in control of my faculties.
And they think it might never end.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking for. Again, that's like...
Well, but now... So now, let's just say for recreational purposes,
Yes.
we go into the weed store.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave. This is my friend Seth. We'd like a joint. And you would say, I'd like a double or whatever you say.
You make it a double.
Make it a double.
Exactly, yeah.
And then would you smoke the entire joint while you were there?
They don't let you smoke it there. You got to take it home.
So you go out in the parking lot.
No, they don't like that either. They kind of want you to...
Well, where do you go smoke the damn thing?
At your home. You go to your home.
Okay, you take it home.
Yeah.
You sit down.
Yeah.
And then you light up the joint. You smoke the whole thing right there.
Sometimes. It depends on how many video games I'm about to play.
Now, you can actually play video games with that kind of fog in your brain.
I think my generation is very accustomed to being stoned and playing video games.
Good news for all of us. The future of America, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Well,
This went in a whole different direction than I thought.
I don't know. Is it expensive? Is marijuana expensive now?
It depends. It ranges on a joint like between 10 and like $30, depending on your quality that you're achieving.
For a joint, 10 or
Yeah,
30 bucks
for a joint,
And if you
yeah.
were going to buy a lid,
You'd first need a time machine.
That's pretty good. You may be impaired, but you're pretty funny.
Thank you. That's my whole thing.
Yeah. Help me with my memory here. Have we seen you since you've been married?
I think so. I think I've been here one time since I've been
And
married.
how's the marriage going?
It's fantastic. I grew a giant beard. You can really let yourself go once you're married, so that's...
Yeah, but it looks very stately, very...
well-groomed.
Yeah,
it's shaped very well.
Is that for a film or just something to do?
I did do it for a movie initially, and then I just kind of liked it. Yeah, I like it. I have like 9 chins under here that are all hidden by this mess.
It's nice not to have to shave, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. No, having shaving is the worst thing ever. You shave every day, it looks
God,
like.
and it's the worst part of the whole job.
The whole
having
thing.
to shave.
Soon, you'll look like this.
I should be so lucky, my friend. Tell me about the married life. You guys, what do you do? Everything together? You do nothing together? What do you do?
We do a lot together. We get along really, really well. We hang out. We watch a lot of television, a lot of bad reality television together.
Right. Now, when you say bad reality, let's have some names.
I mean, it's all pretty bad, right? Actually, I was watching this show with children chefs on it recently. It's like they have child chefs, and I literally could not stop weeping as I was watching the show the whole time. Weeping. Something about it like tapped into some weird emotional place in my brain. And like I was like, these kids are just trying so hard, and my wife literally started laughing at me and making fun of me and took a picture of me as I was crying because this kid messed up her like goose liver terrine or something like that. And I was just like, she's just trying to express herself. It was humiliating. Yeah.
Now, this raises a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Actually, more than a couple of questions.
Yeah, tons of questions.
But is there something in your childhood you think this was evoking?
I don't know. I think I started working when I was really young, and I think that's what it is. I look at these young kids trying to make it, and I feel for them. Mm-hmm. And I want to reach into the screen and offer them some weed or something like that.
Doesn't mean that. He doesn't mean that.